Oh, I'm gonna touch my hair a lot in this video. So breathwork, just to give you like some background on my journey and how we've gotten to this point. If you follow me on any social medias, you probably watched this transformation happen. And so did I. I don't know how, like what happened. So February of last year, I went to Arizona. Cue the vlog footage. I went to Arizona for like a mini spiritual retreat, and my brother at the time was living out there, as well as my good friend Audra. Shout out to those two beautiful people. I wanted to learn breathwork. My brother had been doing it. My brother was a big inspiration for this. I had maybe heard about it here and there, but honestly didn't really know what it was until my brother started doing it, so I can't even lie. All creds to bro. He had really started his like liquidarian lifestyle. I think he was on like month 3 or 4 of just liquids by the time I went out to Arizona in February of last year. He was like breathing every day and living this lifestyle of just liquids, and like you probably that's hearing that, I was like worried, you know. I was like, wait, what? Like you're not chewing anything? You're like unlearning so much by just hearing that sentence alone. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna fast this whole time I'm here. It kind of just automatically happened. Like I didn't even have to think about it. So I was in Arizona, I think for like 4 or 5 days. That was the first time I learned breath work. My brother was a part of the retreat, and you know, he did a breath session at one point in it. And we were breathing every day, every morning when we wake up. And the first time I ever did breath work, it was all mechanical, it was all physical. I was totally just trying to remember all the bandhas or the body lock. You know, just trying to, I was really in my head, like, am I doing it right? You know, all that ego talk was in my head. Slowly, it just kind of built upon itself. Went back home, you know, that I completed 5 days of just liquids. We were just totally drinking smoothies and juices the whole time. It was a breeze, honestly. It was so easy. It's really, really easy to do it with people that are doing it, I will say. Like, at least in the beginning, for me, that made it so much easier. So when I came back home, it just kind of continued. I felt so good, and my thoughts were so different, and just like everything was just kind of falling into place, and I didn't even really realize it. At the time, I was working a really crazy job, 12-hour-a-day job, 5 days of the week. I was working in the film industry here in Atlanta. Dedicating time to breathing was really hard. Like I said, when I first learned, you know, we were doing an hour of breath work every day when I was in Arizona, so it was like, okay, now I have to do this by myself. Okay, it felt like a chore, to be real. Like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel like doing it. It's literally like working out your lungs. So, you know, it's like going to the gym. Like, I didn't feel like working out my lungs for that long. It makes you really realize how present you are not. And so, yeah, working crazy hours, I would like try to come home and do it before bed and try to wake up early in the morning. And it was really not as consistent as I'd like it to be, but I still felt the effects of it still. Like, nevertheless, like, even if I dedicated 20 minutes to it, still, like, one of the first things I remember noticing is that I was sleeping so much harder than I ever have slept. And I worked a crazy job, so I was like always tired. I was sleeping like hard. Like, it was like my body was finally really resting. Like, there wasn't an anxiety while I was sleeping that I probably, you know, all these years weren't aware of. But doing breathwork before bed just made my dreams change, made my sleep pattern change. Like, that was the first thing I noticed for sure, especially because I was doing it mainly before bed. And then as time went on, guys, I don't even know. Like, it was started as a chore, like I said, and then slowly just built upon itself. And I started to just really prioritize it so much. Like, on lunch at work, I would go in my car and do breath work. Any chance I got, I would take a second, go to the bathroom, do some deep breathing. Like, it became like a, oh my God, I gotta breathe. Once you experience what it's like to do that every day, like, okay, challenge, right? I tell everyone this. Commit to yourself for 2 days. 2 hours amongst 2 days, an hour each day, okay? For the next 2 days, breathe from your belly for an hour for 2 days, and then do that 2 days off. And tell me that there's not a vibrational change or shift. Like, you will feel the difference in those 2 days, I promise you. There was definitely days and probably even weeks that I went without breathing in the beginning, just because, you know, it was a transition. And for 2019, I kind of was telling myself, okay, I'm going raw vegan. And I think there was an attachment to that, because I was like, man, I didn't even get to like go raw vegan and like make raw food dishes. And I remember I had just got like a spiralizer for Christmas, and I was like gonna do all these raw food things. And then like when I started breathing more and more, it just was like, your appetite decreases so much because you're so full of prana that fasting is literally just a lifestyle now. Like, it's not, I'm fasting for this. Like, it's just, I feel lighter, my thoughts are lighter. Denser food is gonna make my thoughts more dense. It just feels natural, it just feels right. It's not to say I will never chew food or I won't have like chewable food again. I say it all the time, and I'll say it in this video, but if you prioritize breathing like you do eating, drinking, and sleeping, everything in your reality will shift. And anything you're prioritizing over breath work, you would not be able to do without breathing. You can go days without food, you can go days without sleep, but you can't go that long without breathing. So imagine if you gave that respect to this vital thing that you do every single moment. Imagine how much it could give back to you. I promise you, when I first heard all of this, I was just kind of like receptive and not really like, you know, I didn't really like want to jump to it. When you do it, it just happens. I promise you. Over the summer of last year, if you kept up with any of my vlogs, that's when I really got into my journey, and it just was a shedding. Like that's the best word I can think of for 2019 and breathwork. Stopped wearing makeup completely in 2019, just gave away so many clothes and so many things, just stopped caring about all these attachments. Like I detached so much from so many things, and it just was effortless. It wasn't like resistance in me. It was like, okay, like I just don't want these things. I don't need these things. Lift off of these things. Like I don't need them. And emotionally, like every day just doing breath work, you're tapping into like stored emotions in the body. Your body stores away a lot of emotions and tensions, and wherever you're holding tension at, it's where some emotions are stored. It's not to say I don't have that anymore, you know what I'm saying? It's just saying that like you've been doing that for years and we haven't even realized. Your spine is like a blueprint for all the emotions of your life. Breathwork really taps into that and allows you to release it, and allows you to release it in a healthy way. And it has changed my entire life. And this is not an infomercial. It brings up tears, it brings up anger, it brings up joy. For me, at least in the beginning of like really getting into it and really having good breathwork sessions, was a lot of detachment and a lot of inner child work. A lot of like little Casey coming through and telling me like, hey girl, I miss you. I feel like I could ramble all day long about this because it's like, I want everyone to experience this. I want everyone to experience how amazing life can feel when you live with prana in your lungs all the time. I never in a million years thought this would be what my life is. Like, it's funny how like things just unfold, and you just really got to trust the process. Because this time last year I was not doing this. I was not teaching breathwork. By the way, shameless plug, if you want to learn breathwork, check out the description bar for more info. But I do video chat sessions, I do in-person sessions if you're in Atlanta, yada yada. But anyway, yeah, it just was a really big emotional shed for me. And emotional weight is physical weight. So if you were curious if I lost any weight, I definitely did. I haven't stepped on a scale in I don't know how long, but my pants fit differently, and my mom noticed, and peers around me have noticed, like, you look like you've lost weight. And it's funny because like, I don't know. I feel like it's like such an internal weight that I've lost. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I still definitely have some baggage I'm carrying on my thighs and my hips. Still some emotional weight there, but it's definitely shed a lot. I'm just in the beginning of this journey, so I'm just really excited to see where it goes. I think a huge lesson, I guess, breathwork as far as emotional shedding for me personally was a lot of just forgiving. You know, you realize how much you hold on to. You know, you feel lighter, you give up more, so you receive more. And so I received a lot of messages, and I had a lot of like unspoken apologies I never got from people. And more importantly, before any of that, it was a lot of forgiveness of myself. I can be really hard on myself, so that was a huge thing for me, to be able to just forgive myself for who I was yesterday, let alone a year ago. A lot of tears have been shed. There was a lot of just like random emotional times. They were all really releasing. Like, I can't explain it. Like, crying used to be something to me that was like, you know, hard. I was scared. I was scared to be soft. I was scared to be vulnerable. And I was raised around a lot of male energy. And so that kind of stuff, you know, I wasn't really comfortable with. But I probably cried more in 2019 than I've ever cried, honestly, in 1 year. Sometimes I used to feel guilty about crying, like, oh, why are you crying? Why? I would judge myself, like, there's no reason to cry about this. But every time I cried through this transformation, I was like, yes, cry, let it all go. Like, vulnerability is strength. If everyone took an hour to cry today, like, the world might be at a lighter place, honestly. We all probably need a good cry. Like, and I'm not even just trying to be funny, like, seriously. But that's not to say there's not other emotions. Like, anger definitely arose. I didn't realize how much anger I stored. And I still am going through these things. Like, this morning I did breath work and sadness kind of took over me, and I was just like, wait, what am I? Damn, I didn't even know I was sad about anything. But it makes you kind of just like have that introspective moment of like, okay, I accept that these emotions are rising, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. And it's just in general, like, yeah, a lot of forgiving, a lot of acceptance, a lot of shedding, a lot of ego deaths, so many ego deaths. I feel like I could honestly write a book, and maybe one day I will. Just trust the process, seriously, and be patient with yourself. Really transformative if you dedicate yourself to it. If you really every single day, at least for 30 minutes, first thing in the morning, empty stomach, on the ground, you know, on the floor, straight up spine, put your headphones in and just go. Check out the description for some more little fun links and information on breathwork and things I've got going on. Will all be down there. I would love to breathe with you if you're curious. Like I said, it's my favorite thing in the world, like to share this pranic experience. Witnessing and experiencing and sharing the energy shifts with people is surreal. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Okay, that's it. That's all. That's all for this video anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.